Thank you, Mr. President. We thank the Federal Republic of Somalia for convening this quarterly open debate, thus providing all UN member states an opportunity to address the Council on developments in the region, but also for the plight of the people in the occupied Palestinian territories to remain firmly in the minds of the global public. South Africa aligns itself with the statement delivered by Uganda on behalf of the Non-Aligned Movement. We further align ourselves with the statement delivered on behalf of the core group of the shared commitments in support of UNRWA. Mr. President, South Africa believes that peace in the Middle East remains contingent on resolving the question of Palestine in a just and peaceful manner. Our failure to find a lasting solution to the plight of the people of Palestine and ensure their self-determination, security, and freedom remains an enduring blight on the credibility of the Security Council. While the ceasefire agreement brought initial hope for an end to the untold suffering of the Palestinians, the ongoing lack of a full permanent solution and the continued slow-paced destruction of daily life in Palestine has caused that hope to erode. Hopes were further dashed by Israel's consistent violations of the ceasefire, with almost daily attacks on people in a continuing trend of genocide against the population in Gaza. As of January 2026, while the ceasefire agreement that began in October 25 has reduced the scale of high-intensity bombardment, it has not brought the promised relief to the people of Gaza, who continue to endure profound suffering. It is alarming to note that since the ceasefire and up until 21st January 2026, the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights in the occupied territories recorded the killing of 216 Palestinians, including 46 children and 28 women, in Israeli attacks far from the so-called Yellow Line, and mainly on shelters of internally displaced persons and residential buildings. This included 126 reported attacks by Israeli unmanned aerial vehicles across Gaza, resulting in the killing of 87 Palestinians, including 12 children and 7 women. The catastrophic humanitarian situation in Gaza demands urgent action, and we call for the rapid, safe, and unimpeded delivery and sustained distribution of humanitarian aid at scale into and throughout Gaza. We also call for unimpeded access for the UN and its agencies and humanitarian organizations, including international NGOs, in accordance with international humanitarian law. Mr. President, since the last quarterly debate of this Council on the question of Palestine, we witnessed the Security Council's endorsement of the comprehensive plan to end the Gaza conflict on 29 September 2025 through Resolution 2803, which conferred an inordinate amount of power on the Board of Peace. This board assumes administration of Gaza until the Palestinian Authority completes reforms. With this endorsement, the Council outsourced the oversight of a non-inclusive peace process concerning Gaza to a non-UN body, which has subsequently been broadened into a mechanism that assumes the charter-given responsibility of the UN Security Council related to the maintenance of international peace and security. This is indeed a concerning development that undermines the right to self-determination of the people of Palestine and has broader implications for the United Nations' role in pursuing its central mandate. In this respect, South Africa reiterates that the only path to a just, lasting, and comprehensive solution of the conflict in the Middle East is the two-state solution, with the state of Israel and a sovereign viable state of Palestine living side by side in peace, security, and mutual recognition in accordance with international law and the relevant UN Security Council resolutions. Palestinians deserve peace, security, and dignity, just like Israelis. Thus, the implementation of the comprehensive peace plan and any other effort to establish a just and lasting peace on the question of Palestine must abide with international law and prioritize the human rights of the Palestinians. Related to this, we express grave concern over the deteriorating situation in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem. We reject and strongly condemn any annexation attempts, settlers' violence, including against Christian communities, establishment of settlements which are illegal under international law, and unilateral acts of any expulsion or displacement of Palestinians from Gaza or the West Bank. We further call on Israel to reverse the E1 settlement plan that undermines the two-state solution and constitutes a continued policy of brazen violation of international law. Likewise, we support the Palestinian Center for Human Rights, strongly condemn the Israeli security forces entering the headquarters of UNRWA in the Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood of occupied Jerusalem on 20 January 2026. These actions undermine UNRWA's UN mandate, violate international law, the UN Charter, and relevant UN resolutions, and run counter to the findings of the International Court of Justice Advisory Opinion of 22 October 2025, which calls for the full cooperation with UNRWA and reverses measures that banned UNRWA's presence in the occupied Palestinian territories. Israel, as the occupying power, is obliged under international law to ensure full, safe, and unhindered humanitarian access and to enable the continued functioning of UN humanitarian operations in line with international humanitarian law and relevant international legal obligations. UNRWA must be permitted to be fully operational as it remains the backbone of humanitarian operations in Gaza. Mr. President, in conclusion, UN member states must work collectively to take active, irreversible steps to end Israel's unlawful occupation and realize the Palestinian people's rights to self-determination through statehood that delivers true sovereignty on equal terms with Israel. South Africa will continue to support all efforts towards this goal. I thank you.